Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world.
I've been looking around for salvation. I've been looking around for the truth. All around me I see frustration, and I looked all over till I found you. I sit and listen to your stories, and you're telling me, please don't worry. Lot in this world you should know, and love in life is where you should go. If you're looking for somewhere to go, if you're looking for someone to know, if you're looking for someone to guide you, then love in life will guide you.
Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world, and welcome to tonight's live stream. Well, welcome family. And this live stream reminds me of the slideshows my dad used to put on at our home in Iringa, Tanzania, when I was a little boy. They were displayed on a large sheet. The images were displayed on a large sheet hung from the wall. And Dad would talk about what we were looking at, and boy, did we look forward to those little evenings. But before I get into the live stream, I just want to assure everybody that despite rumors to the contrary, following my published interview with Dian Rabello, that I am pregnant, that is not the case. The position I was seated in created that apparition, and here is the proof. I just wish someone had warned me. Okay, just so you can see. It's pretty flat, okay? It's pretty flat. I'm leaving it at that. Now, let's get on with the show. In February, I decided to take a trip to South Africa to show or to see for myself how things had changed since I'd last been there 12 years before. So, I took the plunge, and this is how I got to South Africa. Let's have a look. Okay, so the trip to South Africa was via Singapore, Dubai, and then into Johannesburg, and it took about 40 hours total. Can you believe it? And the trip back in red was from Johannesburg to Dubai and direct to Brisbane, and that trip took about 30 hours, so it wasn't too bad. Now, my hosts in South Africa were Rocco and Marlena in Krugersdorp, who allowed me to use their home as their base, or as my base. I want to thank Marlena, who I love dearly, for her hospitality in showing me around my old stamping ground from the 1980s. Marlena has been my personal assistant for years now and does an amazing job organizing the live streams. Thank you, Marlena, so much. Okay, let me show you a map of Krugersdorp so I can show you the area that I visited. Here we go. And this is the geographic area that I actually traveled in. Right up to Hartebeespoort Dam that you'll see, Pretoria, where I met Davi Ruth, and of course I stayed in a couple of little B&Bs or lodges around this area here at Muldersdrift. Beautiful, beautiful area, and that was the base in Krugersdorp. So that's where we're going to be looking at. Now, let's get this show going. As you'll soon see, my trip included Hartebeespoort Dam, which is very close to Karen Park Crossing, where this free shopping took place in this major shopping centre just a few days ago. Let's have a look at that, shall we? Okay, you get the general idea. That's why I've got that image at the start of this slideshow series. Now let's kick off the trip, and we should start off at Brisbane Airport. So let's do that. Here we go. That's my plane going off to Singapore. Leaves in about an hour's time from now. That's right, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning now, Brisbane time. Okay, now the plane took me to Singapore, and Singapore has a huge airport. Let's have a look at that. This is Terminal 1 at Singapore Airport, and you can see it's absolutely huge, absolutely massive. This is just one of 4 terminals. This conveyor belt goes for about 20 minutes. And it's just full of people the whole time. And what about when I got to Dubai? It wasn't much smaller, believe me. Here we go. This airport is friggin' huge. This is I'm on B27. Had to catch a train to get to my destination point. It's about getting up to 2 o'clock in the morning on the 8th of March. Okay, as you can see, the hours were a bit crazy, but it was good. And this is leaving Dubai. In fact, the planes, the Emirates planes, are amazing. They have cameras on the tail, on the front of the plane, and one looking straight down. And this is some footage that I took using their camera. Let's have a look at that. This airport is friggin' huge. This is a takeoff at Dubai. Fasten up your seats. I love planes. They are just, they're almost as good as trains. Trains are better, but planes are a lot of fun as well. And because the plane was, as you'll see in a moment, nearly empty on its way to Johannesburg, I was able to lie down and have a good night's sleep. I had about 5 hours sleep on that plane. Here we go. And we're up. It's very dark out there. So, that was the trip, or the takeoff in Dubai. Now, let's move on. Okay, so, as I just mentioned, the plane to South Africa literally had about 20 people on it who did not have South African passports. And I'll show you proof of that in a second. This is what the plane looked like inside just before takeoff. some more.
Officials are to seatbelt flying.
This is in the
Off
plane going to Johannesburg. See, it's mostly empty.
In an unexpected bump.
Hardly any tourists going to
I did mention we
anymore.
got a wonderful team of 30.
Just taxiing out of Dubai on our way to Jan Smuts or Oliver Tambo, Johannesburg. And I want to show you something. The flight to Singapore and the flight to Dubai was completely packed. I've got 3 seats. I can lie down. On the other 2 flights it was like being in a sandwich shop. You know, you were packed one on top of each other. Look at those rows, completely empty. This is the Emirates flight to Johannesburg on the 8th of March.
Sorry guys, I forgot to put that onto the camera. I'm going to just replay that video by itself. Here we go.
Taxiing out of Dubai on our way to Jan Smuts or Oliver Tambo, Johannesburg. And I want to show you something. The flight to Singapore and the flight to Dubai was completely packed. I've got 3 seats. I can lie down. On the other 2 flights it was like being in a sandwich shop. You know, you were packed one on top of each other. Look at those rows, completely empty. This is the Emirates flight to Johannesburg on the 8th of March.
Okay, apologies for that little glitch, but you got an idea in that last video about how empty that flight was. Now, having been born in Dar es Salaam, what got me really excited, except that the hour was absolutely crazy, it was about 4 o'clock in the morning on the 8th of March, we flew over Dar es Salaam. So I had to take a bit of footage of that. Here we go. Okay, so that was when we were flying over Dar es Salaam. It's amazing the information you have on these panels now. But coming into land in Johannesburg was really, really good, really interesting. Except, I tell you what, it was a very, very rough landing. I'm just getting to a good spot before I turn over to it. Here we go. Okay, this is coming into land at Oliver Tambo Airport.
Speaking of this way now, it's going to be an interesting landing.
That's Johannesburg in the background, although you can't really see it very clearly because of the mist, and the smoke, and the smog. See the airport, or the landing strip rather. That's where we're going to land.
It's one of the crappiest landings I've ever had. There's the runway ahead of us.
As I said, that was not a good landing. and it was a very, very rough landing. But this is what it looked like in Johannesburg Airport after we landed.
Shuttles are available at Pillar 2D.
Pick up your luggage at the Oxford Airport. These are the people who left the plane.
Agents are available.
Okay, as you can see, it was relatively quiet compared to the major terminals like Singapore and Dubai. And I do have to say that the only reason you saw a bunch of people there was because they just got off that plane that I was on. Now, what was interesting was this little thing.
This is Tambo Airport. Nothing works. This is supposed to be a movie.
They even had warning signs in front of some of them. I didn't film that one, but yeah, the actual walking things that just didn't work in OR Tambo. Okay, now this is very interesting. Let me show you this one.
This is for other passports, visa exempted countries like Australia. No tourists. Look at this side. These are South Africans returning home. There's absolutely no tourists on that plane. Oh, hang on. There do appear to be a few people. Probably about 20 people.
Now, one of the most interesting things about arriving in OR Tambo was after I'd had my passport checked and I'd gone through, I was supposed to go through customs. And I should tell you that well, the pilot was avoiding potholes. I love it. Good one, Clive. Anyway, when we went through customs, there were 10 Africans in the customs area with customs written on their backs and stuff like that, all talking to each other, and everybody was just walking through. No one's baggage was checked. I'm serious. That happened on the 8th of March, 2023. And I unlike Singapore and Dubai, I had my hand baggage checked very, very carefully. But in Oliver Tambo, it was just nobody there. No one at home. It was really crazy. Now, getting back to my experiences in South Africa. Well, first off, of course, load shedding. Well, this is what happens when you have load shedding. Let's have a look.
In the middle of the cruise store, and you can see the lights aren't working because of load shedding. It's absolutely crazy. It's chaos.
Well, what can I say? Load shedding. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Now, I did mention earlier that I used to live in Krugersdorp. And I was able to track down, even though it's been, well, since the early 1980s that I lived in Krugersdorp, I was able to track down the address of my house. So I was very excited when I was able to go and check it out. Let's go and have a look at that.
I'm walking down Springbok Street in Rantendal in Krugersdorp, and this is where I used to live in the early 1980s. And I've actually located the house that I lived in, so I'm going to go up and have a sticky. It's this number 6 on the corner here on Springbok Street. And my gosh, that's the original house. I built that roof. This is 1983. I'm just going to go up to the entrance. I built that little garage there. Yeah, I built all this way back in the 1980s, and that's the house. That's the house we lived in. And as I say, that roof. Look at the protection they've got on these places now. But that is my old house in Rantendal, in Krugersdorp, and yeah, that roof is so strong. Yeah, nothing will break into that roof. And then
this is the other part of Springbok Street in Rantendale, and I used to go up and down the street every day back in the early 1980s.
Well, there you have it. That was my old house in Krugersdorp, and it looked just the same. And on that day, I also had amazing ribs. Marlena took me to this place where they have ribs, and those ribs were just fantastic. Now, let's go on to what happened on the 10th. Now, of course, on the 10th was the day that I got to chat to Dion Rebello and that infamous chair that I sat in. I think if I go back to South Africa, I'm going to go to that studio and going to trash that chair. Anyway, I'm over it. While I was in the home of Marlena and Rocco, they have a dog, or Marlena's got a dog called Teddy. Now, Teddy is a lovable little animal sometimes. And you'll see what I'm talking about in the video that I'm going to show you. He was actually quite a terror. I was bitten on my hand by Teddy, a finger there. I was bitten on my ankles by Teddy. He was so jealous of Marlena. If anyone who walked up to Marlena just got attacked. It was crazy. But this is the other side of Teddy. Let's have a look. I think you'll enjoy this.
So it's a little red dot on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Come on. Teddy. What's up? Teddy. 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 Oh, Teddy. Oh, Teddy. Teddy. Daddy wants to get up. Daddy wants to get up. Daddy wants to get up.
Look at his paw.
Daddy wants to get up. You won't let me get up. Oh, look, there's a look I'm getting. Oh, let's try again.
Good.
Let's try again. Okay. Come on, Jake. Come on. Daddy wants to get up. Come on. Daddy wants to get up. 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 No. Daddy wants to get up. Daddy wants to get up. Yes. Daddy wants to get up.
Try again.
Okay, try again. Oh. I'm not allowed to get up, am I? I'm not allowed to get up, am I? I'm not allowed to get up, am I?
Teddy. Try again. Oh, look at his. Ooh, no.
Wait till you see the end.
Who's the boss? Who's the boss? Eh? Who's the boss? Who's the boss? Okay, I'm going to get him off now.
Yeah, must otherwise we late.
Okay.
Teddy! Near, Teddy!
I had to protect the crown jewels there.
Teddy, okay.
So there you have it. That was Teddy. Teddy the Terror. Alright, so moving on. One of the places I really wanted to visit was Paardekraal. And of course, Paardekraal is very historic, and Krugersdorp is very historic, especially when it comes to the Boer period. Now, let me show you a couple of the statues that are still up there in Krugersdorp. Here we go. It's the monument of J.G. Strydom, who was the first minister in the Transvaal government. No, he wasn't. Yes, he was. And Kruger, Paul Kruger. This is also in Krugersdorp, and that is, of course, Paul Kruger. And he was a guy who headed up the Transvaal pre the Second World War. And of course, the Kruger coinage from 1892 to 1900 were named after him. Now, when it came to Paardekraal, which is a hugely significant and historic monument in Krugersdorp, not so much luck. This is what I came across when I was trying to go in through the front gate. Let's have a look at that. The gate to the Paardekraal monument in Krugersdorp, and the whole thing is surrounded by electric wire, and there's this gate. You can't get in, and you've got to phone this contact person to actually get access. And this is look at the fence around it. This is a historic Boer War monument, and the actual monument itself is through there, but you can't see it even from here. Okay, now sadly, Paardekraal wasn't the only place where tourists could not visit something which was significant historically in the Krugersdorp area, but we'll get to that a bit later. On the 12th of March, I had a day at this wonderful little place called Glenburn, and it's very close to Krugersdorp, and let me just show you how beautiful this place is. And the food there is fantastic. Here we go. Let's have a look at this. This is Glenburn Lodge and Spa. We'll be spending the night. This is the entrance to have a look at this entrance. Lodge. And look at the entrance, the road. Pretty. Just like a painting. Absolutely beautiful. And this is the hanging bridge. I came across this, so I had to cross it. It's really kind of fun. It does swing a bit. There's that waterfall that we came over. There's the other way, looking down the river, and the houses. I'm actually trying to find someone to find out where we're supposed to go. Hopefully we'll find someone here. Okay, so that was Glenburn Lodge, and the food there was absolutely out of this world. Have a look at this. Is just the starters. Whoops, excuse guys, I've just got to turn off my alarm here. Oh, come on. Thank you. Okay, I've got rid of that. The food here was absolutely extraordinary. Here we go. This is the starter at Glenburn Lodge. They've got 100 rooms, they take 200 people, and some are self-catering, but look at this, these are just starters.
Amazing spread.
Wait till you see our desserts.
And yes, those desserts were quite extraordinary, as were the main courses. I mean, just brilliant. That was a Sunday lunch at Glenburn Lodge. And I think it was 275 Rand, which is in US dollar terms about $20. It's just crazy cheap. Now, here is the breakfast at Glenburn, also pretty excellent. Here we go.
This is the buffet breakfast, and it's lovely selection of food. And then you've got your main courses. So, what sort of omelettes do you make?
The omelette.
Yeah, what sort? What?
Omelette.
Yeah, what type? Tomato, what else?
Tomato is mushroom and peppers and tomatoes, no onion.
No onions.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Good, sir.
And, some of the activities they had there were amazing. They had a putt-putt golf course. They had chess, a big chess set, which you could go and play out on the grass. And they also had this rock pool, which you could swim in. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at this.
How cool is that? The sunken bar. And right next to it is this little rock pool, which doubles as a swimming pool. These little caves, waterfall.
Now, it's sad to leave Glenburn Lodge, and you can see why. It is a really lovely spot. And on the way back, I travelled past Sterkfontein Caves, because I thought, well, hey, it's a Monday morning. I think it was a Monday morning. Let me just check. Which day was this? Yeah, it was, I think, anyway. I travelled past Sterkfontein. It was a weekday morning, about 10 o'clock. And this is what greeted me. Let's have a look.
It's the Sterkfontein Caves. It's Monday, 10 o'clock in the morning. You'd think that it'd be open at this time, wouldn't you? Well, guess what? It ain't. It ain't. It's closed. So, I guess Sterkfontein Caves are out of the question.
And it got worse. About 200 yards down the road, they had this set up for the Cradle of Mankind, because that's where the town missing link was found back at Sterkfontein. And this is what greeted me when I had a look at their little display for people who were supposed to be visiting Sterkfontein, which you couldn't visit. Quite extraordinary. Let's have a look at that.
Monument to the Cradle of Humankind, and right at the side, look at that, just collapsing. Absolutely incredible. Let's just keep going, and you can see these little seats with, oh, what's happened here? Oh wow, look at this. Oh, look at this. It's probably because of the water. I'd say this is related to a water line that's broken. You can see this is where the collapse happened on the other side too. I'm going to get out of this area, it's a bit sus. But yeah, there are the little seats. And all of the seats over here. And here's the little monument to it. Let's have a look. It says the Africanus Gateway is named after the discovery of the Australopithecus africanus fossil. Mrs. Pless.
Alright, so I'm going to leave
it.
it there. But, yeah, it's so sad to see how they just neglect things. And on the way back to Krugersdorp, this is what I passed. I couldn't believe it, seeing that we talk about the dangers of 5G, you know, and EMS, electromagnetic discharges, and you know, it's just not something you want in basically the play yard of kindergarten kids. Have a look at this. This is in Krugersdorp.
This is a primary school in Krugersdorp. You see the kids in the yard there. Look what's right next to it. And let me get a different angle. Okay, so there it is. Protean Ausdorf Centrum. Look at this. Bloody 5G tower. Right in the schoolyard.
Now, Krugersdorp has quite a bit of history for me, and one of the key parts of my life was I got married in Krugersdorp in 1983. And I was able, thanks to Marlena, to track down the Portuguese church where I got married, and my ex-wife still lives in Krugersdorp, I believe, although I didn't see her while I was over there. But this is the church that I got married in 1983. Let's have a look at that.
This is the Portuguese Roman Catholic Church in Krugersdorp, where I got married in about 1985 to my wife. I hope those doors open, maybe they don't. We'll see. Let's have a look. Apparently this is a very dangerous area now.
Okay, now that was the outside of the church. Let's have a look at the inside, because it is quite a splendid church. Here we go.
This is the inside of that church, and it's big. Let's walk to the front. Okay, I'm in the middle of Krugersdorp. I'm right next to this Holy Rosary Church, and here on the pavement the manhole covers have been stolen. Nice little dangerous thing for people who walk along the road. It's just right here. Absolutely amazing. That's on the pavement in the middle of Krugersdorp.
What? Sorry, apologies about that. Okay, not so good when you got potholes all over the place. But one final activity that we did get involved in on that day was looking at the view of Krugersdorp. And let me show you that. This is from a private house. It's quite beautiful. Here we go.
This is the view from Nerdhevel, and it's an art gallery, but what a spectacular view it's got.
Alright, I hope you can hear me now. Please put 1 on the side chat if you can. I do apologize. I had a little glitch on my streaming software. Now, on the 14th of March, we visited the Walter Sisulu Botanical Gardens. And before I show you that, I just want to show you a cash-in-transit vehicle that I saw at one big shopping centre, and I thought, my God, that's got to be the most dangerous job in the world. Let's have a look at this.
Howdy! Wow! It's a cash-in-transit guy with his gun. I don't play ya. Yeah.
Okay, so that's your cash-in-transit, guys. Now, we went to the Walter Sisulu Gardens, which, as I mentioned a moment ago, are absolutely beautifully kept and maintained. It really was a pleasure to walk through the place. I'm going to show you some footage that I took while I was in there. And it was there that it happened quite a few times when I was in South Africa. People walked up to me and said, loving life, loving life. And in Walter Sisulu Gardens, Botanical Gardens, this black fellow walked up to me. He said, loving life. And I said, yes. And he said, I watch your videos. And he said, so do a lot of my friends. And he said, some of them are good, but others, and I'll never forget this, he said, others are rubbish. And then he gave me a lecture about entitlement in South Africa. I've actually put a video up about that. If you go to the homepage and have a look at the South African little videos that are up there, the second one is about entitlement, and you'll actually hear what he has to say there. And I do apologize for the sound of the waterfall in the background, but it is what it is, and that's where the discussion took place. Let's have a look at the Walter Sisulu Botanical Gardens. Here we go.
This is at Walter Sisulu Gardens. This is the front entrance, and you got the Sisulu Circle. And it's in a beautiful location. A lot of people here. Apparently it's one of the few things that still is kept well in Krugersdorp. And there's the main entrance to it.
Okay, now let me show you some more footage of Walter Sisulu Botanical Gardens, and as I say, it's absolutely beautiful. Here we go.
This is at the bottom of the falls, and we'll just work our way up. Okay,
this is
there's
the bird's
eagle's
nest.
right there. Right there, you can see the twigs. If you zoom out, you can see how close it is to the falls.
Now, while I was at Walter Sisulu Botanical Gardens and was sitting down having a bite to eat in this very pretty spot at the restaurant, the manager came up to me and we had a bit of a chat. And I asked him how load shedding had impacted him. And I'm going to play that video because load shedding is a huge issue in South Africa. Huge. It's destroying the country. And just hear what this manager has to say about how load shedding has impacted his business this year.
Okay, this gentleman has just joined us, and he's manager of a restaurant here in Krugersdorp. And tell us a bit about your experience with load shedding.
Well, we are having severe problems. We had more than 2 days of total outage. There was a plant that was non-functional and they fixed it, but now today we had scheduled load shedding this morning, and we are now on our second load shedding, unscheduled load shedding, or not load shedding, unscheduled power outage this morning. It's not even lunchtime yet, so we've basically had 3 outages just this morning, so we're spending a fortune on diesel.
How much a day?
Well, over 2,000 Rand a day on diesel.
Wow.
So,
and what's your profit per day?
Profit all goes into the diesel basically, so it's very difficult to run a business like this if all your profit goes into the diesel. So,
and how much would it normally cost per day when it's electricity?
In terms of
you're running costs. Yeah, Eskom. If it was Eskom without.
Well, we normally before load shedding we spend about 6,000 Rand, 8,000 Rand, depending on how busy are a month.
A month on and now it's 2,500 a day.
Yeah, not on diesel, on electricity.
Yeah, but I mean now with the load shedding it's 2,500 Rand per day for diesel.
Whereas before we had this problem with electricity, our monthly electricity was about 8,000 for the month.
Right, so that's like 4 days of diesel. So that's 27 days that you haven't budgeted for at 2,500 Rand per day, which is about 60,000 Rand.
So it becomes very difficult to keep your doors open because you're not making a profit. But anyway, for the best.
So this is the same for all restaurants and coffee shops and everything else in South Africa, isn't it?
I would imagine so, yes. Yes. I think in your shopping malls, I think they have a central one, most of them.
But someone's got to pay for the diesel.
Yes. And as I said, we've got a big generator because we've got 3-phase ovens and a lot of freezers and deep freezers. that and fridges that takes a lot of electricity. But
Wow.
that we to be operational, we have to have that electricity in the kitchen, and for our computers, etc., etc.
Yeah. What's your message for Eskom?
I think they should get somebody else to run it for them. Yeah. Very difficult situation.
Yeah. Well, I
They
believe.
should privatize it or something, or build more solar farms and wind farms to generate more electricity for the country.
Well, from what I heard this morning, in the lead up to the election, they're planning to have fewer load sheddings as you get closer, which
That
is obviously a
remains to be
political
seen.
move. Yeah.
I don't think they can do that.
Yeah.
And on Monday we've got a huge national strike, so we probably wouldn't be able to open our doors.
Wow.
They're going to block roads, and it's going to be total chaos. In Gauteng, anyway, I don't know about the rest of the country.
Well, Richards Bay apparently is going to be the worst. Yeah. They're going to shut down Richards Bay because of all the coal going through Richards Bay.
Yeah, you see, so they're sabotaging this so that Eskom has got less coal to supply, obviously, supply electricity with.
Well, guess what? I fly out on the 21st.
You're lucky.
Well, that's if I can.
That's if you can.
Yeah. That's if they don't continue on the next day.
Imagine that, and if you get to the airport and say, closing, sorry, you have to buy another ticket in a week's time or something. Imagine that.
That would be hard. All right, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
And your name's Emil?
Emil, yes.
Yeah, Emil, lovely to meet you.
Come to Emil's place for a meal. Thank you.
Okay, Emil, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was Emil, and a lovely guy, and you can see the impact of load shedding on small business in South Africa. Absolutely classically spelt out there. And after what was a lovely trip at the Botanical Gardens, on the 15th and 16th of March, I actually travelled to a place called Makoya Lodge. Let's have a look at that. And before we get to Makoya Lodge, I do need to say that one of the most beautiful plants in the world to me is something called cosmos. And it is spread right across South Africa, and at this time of the year you see it flowering. Let's have a look at cosmos. Here we go.
Here's some more lovely cosmos lining the road. This is at Hartebeespoort, and how pretty is that? Look at this beautiful little flower here. Where is it? There we are. Look at that. That's cosmos. Used to get in the Drakensberg.
Now, that was on the road to not only Makoya Lodge, but also to Hartebeespoort Dam. And this is just signage I saw on the way going to the lodge. Here we go. Okay, now, this is on the road to Magaliesberg as well, going to the lodge. So let's have a look at the view, the scenery.
This is on the road to Hartebeespoort, and beautiful area. That's the Magaliesberg in the distance there, the world famous Magaliesberg. See them through the middle there. And as I say, this is the road to Hartebeespoort.
Okay, now Makoya Lodge is very different to Glenburn, but it is also a wonderful little location not far from Krugersdorp, and you know, I loved it for a whole range of different reasons, as you will see in a second. But this is the entrance to Makoya Lodge. Let's have a look at that.
This is where I'm going to be spending the next couple of nights, which is Makoya Lodge in the Hartebeespoort, very near to Hartebeespoort, and very near to the border between Gauteng and the Northwest Province.
Okay, what does Makoya Lodge look like? Well, let me show you. It's quite beautiful.
Just some more views from the lodge, and it's very flat here, so it's actually really nice. This is their conference center, and around here we have the pool. Might have a swim later today. I wonder if that's open. Let's get, this is called the function lapa. Function lapa. Oh, it's open. Oh wow, look at this. Wow, it's pretty big. Look at the roof. I love these roofs. Made of thatch. Of course they got the bar. Bet there've been a few parties here. Heidelberg, that's a famous wine, South African wine.
Okay, now that's enough of Makoya Lodge, and what I really enjoyed about Makoya Lodge is that you could go for these beautiful walks, and I obviously took that opportunity, and here are a couple of videos about some of the walks that I took. Let's have a look at that. This is alongside the river at Makoya Lodge.
He was telling me that they once had a reed chapel here, but it was swept away in the floods, the recent floods, and it used to be around here somewhere, but this is where people got married, and not much here now, but I'm at the lower section. You can probably just hear the water in the background. So, I might take the Boner Trail, and before I do, let's go and have a look, see what's inside this compound. What a great spot for a barbecue. Oh wow, look at this. Lots of place to put your food, a fire, seating, and there's the view. River down below. Beautiful. And up there the river. And there's part of the river. Looks quite inviting. But this is South Africa, so it's probably full of sewage. So I'm not going to chance it. I'll stick to the pool. But no smell. It does smell quite clean.
Okay, so that's just a few of the video clips I took of the views around Makoya Lodge. And I had 2 nights at Makoya, and one of the exciting, look, I've been chased by just about every known animal in South Africa, from hippos to elephants to rhinos. I've done them all. It's like what's that, Benny Hill, at the end of Benny Hill, where he's running the whole time, people are chasing him. That's how I felt much of my time in South Africa. Now the reason I'm talking about this is because the next day, this is on the 16th of March, I went down and took a long walk alongside the river. And just before I went down, the manager said, "Oh, by the way, there's a hippo on the loose. We're not sure where it is, but just watch out for hippos because they are pretty dangerous, and they are actually the most dangerous animal in South Africa when it comes to humans." Let's have a look at my walk at Makoya Lodge on the 16th of March.
This is part of the trail, and it's very pretty. Look at this. John's Dip. It's called John's Dip here. I wouldn't go jumping in there, but anyway, that's the river down there. There are snakes around here, so I've got my shoes on, not my little thongs. The only one I'm scared of is a boomslang. That's the one that actually sits in the tree and is deadly poisonous. I've seen a few of those in my time at Michael House. Isn't it pretty? Apparently a hippo escaped from a local game reserve, and it's sort of kind of... Oh, there it is. You see the hippo hooves? Ah, these are fresh too. Wow, I wouldn't want to come across a hippo here. Wow, definitely hippo. There it is there. It's going this way. I'm expecting to see the hippo any moment. They're the most dangerous animal in Africa. This is exciting.
Anyway, I didn't see the hippo, but I did walk further down that track. But it's a lengthy video, so I'm going to cut it short there. It was beautiful and so peaceful, as Shavesh says and others have said. But I'm going to show you one final little video clip of one of the walks that I went on when I was at this Makoya Lodge. Let's have a look at that.
Okay, I found another walk called the Eco Walk. So let's go and explore that. It goes down this track here. Let's see where this takes us. We are in the heart of Africa. All I've got with me is a stick, and that's about it.
Yeah, so the walks around Makoya are fabulous. They really are beautiful, and highly recommend the place. The restaurant is great. There's actually an international chef who basically looks after the food. And I just want to make a point, guys, and that is that at both of the two places that I stayed at, I was the only white person who was at the restaurant, having lunch, breakfast, whatever. I was the only one, and they weren't empty. I mean, they had a lot of people there, but very, very few white people obviously have the money to go traveling today. Now, one final video from Makoya Lodge, and that's this beautiful sunset. Have a look at this, going down over the Hartebeespoort. Now this is quite a long clip, so I'm going to cut it short. I'll just play it for a few seconds. Okay, you can see how beautiful that evening was. It was just a perfect evening. Now, what happened next is we had to go to, we went to Hartebeespoort Dam. And before I'm sorry, Marlena, I see you here in the side chat. I have to talk about your car. Marlena was like my chauffeur. She drove me around. She did a fantastic job. But my God, the car. You saw Teddy, what Teddy tried to do to me. Well, the car tried to sabotage wherever we went. I don't know what it was about, but you know that film, The Gods Must Be Crazy, where the guy is going to meet this beautiful woman who's going to be teaching, and I think it was in Botswana, and he's going along this dirt track in this car they call the Beast, because if the car stops running, then you're in deep in the proverbial. You know what I'm talking about. And he's going up these sort of like little humps, and there's a bloody fence at the top, and he's got to try and open the fence and put a rock behind us while keeping the car going. And that's that's how it was with the car that we were in. It was like, is the car going to start or isn't the car going to start? And during the actual journeys, the car had to be kept going. Otherwise we might be stuck in somewhere really bad. But somehow it worked. We had a few false starts getting the car going, but we did manage to get all over the place, and the car was fantastic at the end of the day. Now, okay, so from Makoya Lodge we went to Hartebeespoort Dam, and this is some footage of the Magaliesberg that we saw.
On the road to Hartebeesfontein, and you can see the beautiful Magaliesberg in the background. And people working in the fields there. And yeah, just absolutely idyllic. What a beautiful part of the world. And this road with the lines of trees take us down there.
Now, you saw that little sign in the background. Okay, you saw that little green and yellow sign in the background. I'm going to show you what it says. I think it's hilarious. Let's have a look. Die Plaas se gat. The farm's backside. Anyway, getting back to Magaliesberg, let's have a look at some more views. Here we go.
This is called Millstream Farm, and you can see it's got a beautiful entrance. But why I stopped here is not for the farm, but the Magaliesberg in the background. Look at that. Beautiful mountains. This is a road to Hartebeesfontein.
Okay, now, on our way to Hartebeespoort Dam, we stopped off at a place called Skierspoort, and it was one of these little towns where it wasn't even a town, it wasn't even a village. It just had one little area where there were a couple of shops. And they had an antique shop, which I always go and look at. And I discovered this little gem in the antique shop, A History of Johannesburg. And it's an old book. It's not a new book. It's an old book by G.A. Lades. And you know how much that book cost me? I hope you're sitting down. It cost me 5 rand. Absolutely amazing. It's full of images and photos of old Johannesburg. Cost me 5 rand. Amazing what you can pick up. Now, talking about Skierspoort. this is what has happened to their post office. It's so sad. Let's have a look. Now this is really quite sad. This is Hartebeespoort. This is their post boxes, believe it or not. You can see that they're nothing in there anymore. If you have a look at that one there, the one that's open, you can see that it's just the back has been taken out. Have a look in there. See, there's nothing in there. And relic of the past, the post office agency. Think of when that used to be a thriving little place for the local community would gather, and I bet that's not been open for 10 years now. This is South Africa imploding. Yeah. So Hartebeespoort in the middle of nowhere in South Africa. Alright, now on that same road we went past a couple of small little squatter camps or townships, and sadly, you know, in all this beauty, this is what's happening. Let's have a look. This is a little township on the road to Hartebeespoort, and you can see the township over this side with the predictable taxis waiting. Bus stop through there. And also on that same road we went past this train bridge, which was no longer in operation because the railway tracks had been stolen. Believe it or not, here we go. Beautiful river here. This is near Hartebeespoort. But the reason I stopped was because that's an old railway bridge, and you'll notice that all the railway lines have been stolen. The one thing they couldn't steal is the structure, but railway lines are gone. Railway lines are gone. Welcome to South Africa, where nothing is sacred. And as we got close to Hartebeespoort Dam, I think this sign kind of sums up this situation. Let's have a look. And just so you can get a bit of flavour on what I'm talking about, this is one of the potholes that I had to stop for. There are a couple of potholes, and the reason I stopped there was because I saw a couple of, dare I say it, a couple of white people working on the roads to fill up potholes, which clearly is a municipal job, but these guys had just had enough waiting, and in fact that's what they confirm. Let's hear what they had to say about potholes in South Africa. Here we go. So how long has this pothole been here?
For about 2-3 months.
And the municipality don't do anything about it?
Don't do it yourself, not do it.
Yeah.
We're going to fix another two on the other side.
I said we nearly went through one of those.
Yeah, we're going to fix that now. We just left it for the car.
Your name is Mace, is it?
Yeah, Hartebeespoort, yeah.
Oh, you're the regional manager?
And the resort manager there.
Oh, okay, right. Can I take a little video of you? Yeah? What the heck? So, you're actually organising these pothole fill-ins?
Yeah, what happened is most of the cars get damaged here, so nobody's interested, so we just bought tar, we're fixing the pothole.
Yeah. Okay, otherwise it'll just get worse and worse.
Yeah. So we're going to do the other 2-3 that side.
Yeah. Well, this is the only growth industry in South Africa, isn't it? Well, we get to Hartebeespoort Dam, and Marlena takes me into this little township called Cosmos, and with her car, which we had to keep going the whole time. But we drive into this little area, which is like a private, well, it's not private, it's a public boating area, but it's owned privately. And the reason I went there is because I wanted to film the water hyacinth, which is, you could see, is just taken over the entire dam. So I took a few photos. Let me show you that or a couple of video clips of the water hyacinth. Here we go.
Now, that in the background is actually the dam, completely covered in this area by water hyacinth. Isn't that terrible? That should be blue water, but because of the sewage and the crap that goes into the waterways in South Africa, it's covered by this weed. Look at that. It's just thick. As far as the eye can see, the water's covered by water hyacinth. Imagine trying to take a boat into that. Wow. You can see how invasive it is on the other side. Look how far it's come across. This is the Hartebeespoort Dam. You can see it's been completely overtaken in large parts by this weed.
Little bit of
The
video
green
clip
weed.
on the hyacinth.
And even here, right on the coastline, you can see the
Okay, I'm gonna shut it off there, 'cause
invasive weed.
we've
that's
seen
just
the
taken
problem
over
they've
the
got there, and there'll be a couple of video clips which are from the dam wall where you'll actually see the same problem. Now, it was at this infamous location that I spotted this very, very important person arriving in a government car. And on the side of the car it said Department of, it should have said Department of Entitlement, but it said the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. So I was intrigued. So being an Australian tourist, I walked a bit closer, and I was about 20 yards away, I guess, from where the very important people got out of this car. And I noticed a white fella walking up to them, and I think he was the guy who owns this particular piece of land. And I stupidly thought that I would film what was taking place. And this is what happened. Let's listen. The lady in the yellow is the one who's very, very officious, and the one who...
yellow is from the Department of Constitutional Development. So I don't know what this is all about. Obviously the white guy is
she noticed that I was filming her at that point in time, and she approached me, and she basically threatened to have me arrested. She was going to call the police until... I'll show you. You can listen to a little bit of the discussion that I surreptitiously took. Here we go.
They be allowed to take a photo of a person without the person's permission.
I didn't take any video.
They told
No.
you have to take, you have to get their permission.
Are we allowed to
Take
review your photo? Are you
a
sure?
photo.
Are we allowed to review your camera? Well, I'll tell you what actually happened there. And unfortunately I couldn't film or capture all of the discussion. But what happened there was that I basically, while talking to this very officious woman from the department, a very important person, let's not forget that. I noticed that one of her entourage was filming me from his mobile phone. So I said to her, hey, okay, you got to arrest me, you got to arrest him, because I didn't give him permission to film me. Well, because of, I'm going to be very careful what I say here, because of perhaps limitations she might have had, she didn't know how to handle that argument. And there was another guy who was also another very important person who said, let it go. And they all walked off, and I walked off, and that's what happened. But wouldn't it have been interesting if I'd been arrested and thrown behind bars for filming that little piece of action there? I mean, absolutely crazy. But that is South Africa. Anyway, let's move on. So, we get to the dam wall. Let's have a look at the dam wall. It's
road
Hartebeespoort.
over Hartebeespoort dam.
I'll just skip a little bit here because this is, I don't want to just have me walking. Where is my mouse gone? There we are. Okay, let's jump a bit. Okay, this is better. Now look at the water hyacinth, just clogging up the dam.
Oh wow. That's the overflow from Hartebeespoort Dam. And look at the water hyacinth, just choppies in there. This is from the other side of the Hartebeespoort Dam, looking down at the little waterfall. What a beautiful location. And over here you can actually see the wall. Amazing feat of engineering. This is the one-way traffic over the wall.
Okay, so that's a little bit about Hartebeespoort Dam, and there's a lovely little town there. And in fact, it was really interesting because the day after we went through, they had this fun run, which ran 50 kilometers around Hartebeespoort Dam. And we met some guys from AfriForum who were cleaning up the tunnel. I haven't got the video footage here, unfortunately, but they were cleaning up the tunnel because of all the crap and pee on the walls and floor inside the tunnel. Sad, isn't it? Now, moving on. On the way back. Oh, yeah, on the way back. There's this intersection quite close to where Marlena and Rocco live in Krugersdorp. And we approach this intersection where there's probably one accident per week. And I'm not talking about minor accidents, I'm talking about accidents where people die. This is a shocking, absolutely shocking intersection. And it's probably one of the worst in the world. Let's have a look at it. Here we go.
stay on the right side of the road, mate. You're gonna be on the wrong side of the road.
Yes. That is not.
Now, how crazy is that? I mean, serious. It's like playing bumper cars. That is a major intersection in Krugersdorp. Yeah, just absolutely crazy. Now, on the 18th of March, that was on Saturday, I was invited to go and see Davy Root up in Pretoria. And we'd agreed to meet at about midday. So we left a little bit early, and this is the sunrise that I saw on the road to Pretoria. Let's have a look at that. This is sunrise on Saturday the 18th of March. Travelling to Pretoria, starting off with a wander around the Wheatflay Game Park, and then after that we're going to have the discussion with Davy Root, the South African economist, at his house. That's scheduled for midday today. Okay, so that was the day that I had a chat to Davy Root, but I want to show you one of the sad realities of what is happening in South Africa today. It's a very short video clip, but you'll get the gist of what's going on. It's an elderly lady begging on a street corner. It's very sad, but this is what's happening. Let me show you. That's a woman. Isn't that sad? I mean, this is how desperate the many whites are as a result of black economic empowerment, which is a racist employment law which has been brought up by this corrupt ANC government. Now, before we went to see Davy, we went to Rietvlei. It's a game reserve. In fact, it's the biggest game reserve in a city anywhere in the world. Now, that's a bit of information that was given to me by one of the guys who used to take people out on little walks through Rietvlei Game Reserve. And it's 4,500 hectares, and believe me, it's big. In fact, we got lost on Rietvlei. We couldn't find our way back out again. But it was a very, very interesting visit. And I'm going to show you what I came across when I was at one of the bird hides, and being an intrepid explorer, I couldn't let this one pass me by. Let's have a look at that. I am in the middle of the game reserve, Rietvlei, and can you believe this? Please sanitize your hands. In the middle of a game reserve? What the heck? And of course there's nothing there. You gotta love South Africa, haven't you? I mean, seriously, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Now, what I did see a lot of in Rietvlei Game Reserve was zebra. I did also see the rhino. I saw buffalo. What else did I see? I saw a lot of birds. It's a beautiful area. They got 5 cheetah, but I didn't get to see the cheetah, unfortunately. But let's have a look at some video footage of zebra, and they were so tame. It's amazing. Look at this. Okay, the first animal sighted at Rietvlei. These are zebra, of course. Beautiful animals. They seem very tame, don't they? Just stop here, yeah.
Look at the babies.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at the bird.
Yeah.
Riding on the
Yeah.
back of that one. It's riding on its back.
Come in and have a look.
a bird sort of like part of the family.
Yes. Oh, look, come helping. Cute little baby. Hi, baby.
Oh, look at the birds on top of the...
Oh, there's even a smaller baby.
They don't seem to worry about people, do they?
Mm-mm.
Look at that little baby.
Baby. Cute.
Hitching a ride.
Hello, baby.
Hitching a
Hello,
ride.
baby. Hello, baby. I touched it.
Hitching a ride.
Yeah, look at this.
Whoa.
And some more zebra. Here, let's have a look at this one. This is quite funny. Look how close and personal this zebra gets to us.
Just stay there. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. I'm losing them now because you're moving.
Now, how's that for getting up close and personal? Aren't they beautiful? I mean, seriously. It takes me back to the Roman times where they had those little crests on their helmets. Absolutely stunning. Alrighty, so that was let me just get out of that one. That was some footage from Rietvlei, and now after that we headed off to Davy Rood's house, and Davy had invited me around for the afternoon, a couple of beers and a bit of a chat, and you've seen the live streams that I had with Davy where we crossed swords over the one world government conspiracy theory, which he still doesn't believe in, but we were starting to slowly educate him on that. This is what Davy Rood's home looks like. It's absolutely stunning. Have a look at this.
This is Davy Rood's house. Beautiful. Beautiful estate.
And what about inside his office? Well, let me show you inside Davy's office. Here we go. And he's got to have the biggest fish pond I've ever seen in a home. Ever. As you'll see in a second.
And big fish pond. Wow.
Isn't that amazing? I just love that fish pond. I think it's fantastic. So, we come to the 20th of March, when, according to that little grub called Julius Malema, he was going to shut down South Africa. Let's listen to the grub. Here we go.
When you said to business, is business as usual, open your shops, I said close. They closed. I'm in touch. I've got you by scrotum. There's nothing you can do, nothing. All of you combined. You can scream anyhow you want. Once more I demonstrated to you black opposition, a white opposition with the ruling party combined. I'm in charge. And I want that to sing. You will tweet every day, you will call press conference every day, you will bring soldiers and police because the men in charge said shut down South Africa and it was shut down.
Okay, now what you've been watching is a really delusional piece of shit. Okay, he doesn't know what he's talking about. There was no real shutdown. Certainly there was no signs of it in any of the areas I went to on the 20th of March, which is the day before I flew out. And in fact, on that day, I went to a place called Kloofzicht, which is quite beautiful. It's the third resort that I went to, and there were at Kloofzicht quite a few white people, which was nice to see. Nice to see that the white population were still able to go and enjoy a break. This is Kloofzicht. Let me show you. It's very close to Krugersdorp. Here we go.
This goes over in like a marshy area. This little bridge, walking bridge. This must be the wedding party. Look at that. Ah, there. That entrance, quite grand. Fetch. Good day. And there's that valley between the two little hills over the dam. This is the dining room at Kloofzicht. See, it's pretty big.
Okay, now that just gives you a bit of a look at Kloofzicht, but I've got some other videos related to that, and I went for a walk up this hill, about 100 yards up, so I could actually film back down on the area, because it is so pretty. Let's have a look at that. Here we go.
This is the hill I've climbed up, quite a big hill, and that's a view looking down at the lodge and the little lakes that I walked around. Quite beautiful. It's about just after 5 in the afternoon, and it's the 20th of March 2023 here at Muldersdrift.
Yeah, now I mentioned Muldersdrift there because Kloofzicht, like the other resorts I went to, are in Muldersdrift. Muldersdrift has got a very, very interesting history, and in fact, at Kloofzicht, they had a book on the history of Muldersdrift, and I read that while I was there, and it was quite fascinating. A lot of photos, and you know, it's amazing how much of history in South Africa is sadly being lost. So being able to get that book was really exciting. Now, central to Kloofzicht is a dam that they've got. It sort of sits in front of all the cottages, and you look out over this dam where they've got ducks and stuff like that. And I'm going to show you some video footage of that dam. Here we go.
Now the dam wall from the other side. See, the view is spectacular, and the cottage I'm staying in is over there. Beautiful view of the dam, and of course we get the sunrise as well. Look at that. These cottages over here. It's pretty big, this place. And another little dam in front of them. Another dam, the big one there. 2,500 rand per night here. It's pretty steep, but it's my last night in South Africa, so it's worth it.
Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. The view from the cottages. Stunning. Apparently the man who owns Kloofzicht also owns Makoya. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this because we've gone walkies. Okay, now let's have a look. We'll just look at this final video footage of the
That
viewers.
is the lodge ahead of us. This peaceful little valley.
Okay, so that's Kloofzicht in the Muldersdrift area near Krugersdorp, and absolutely, look, all three places were great. There were a couple of little hiccups at Kloofzicht, but I'm sure they were not normal, because it is a 5-star resort. Now, 21st of March. This is the day that I was flying back to Australia, and the most fantastic sunrise. Let's have a look at this. Here we go. Okay, I see Marlena says that they own Glenburn Lodge,
Sunrise
not Makoya. My apologies.
Last morning in South Africa, I fly out to Dubai and then Brisbane later this evening, and I thought I'd just take this opportunity just to soak in the beauty of Africa. This is in the Hartebeespoort. Sorry, this is in Muldersdrift. Let me get that right. Look at that sky. Beautiful oranges.
Isn't that beautiful? Watch how everything turns yellow when I go back here. That's the actual colour I saw. This is the colour I saw. But unfortunately the camera sort of corrects after a while and it goes blue again. But that was the golden colour that I saw right now. Look at the mist on the water. Absolutely stunning. You can see how the camera's correcting and moving it to blue. which is so sad. But anyway, so let's get back to the situation here. So I was standing there filming, and all of a sudden I saw something in the sky that I couldn't believe.
What a
And
beautiful
here it
day
is.
for a
Hang on, let me just
hot air balloon ride.
let me just get back to the start. Here we go. Okay, this is what I saw while I was sitting outside, or standing outside, filming this beautiful sunrise. Here we go.
What a beautiful day for a hot air balloon ride. Look at that. You can actually hear the gas being pumped into the canopy. That must be about... Oh, there are two of them. There are two balloons. I didn't see the other one. They're coming this way. You can see the sunrise behind them. Coming right this way, coming right over us. That must be about a few hundred meters from me now. Starting to get the colours of it. You can see the people in the balloon. It's only about 100 meters from me. Looks like it's coming down to land in the back. I don't think so though.
Just for the record, they did actually come down and land in the back, and I met the guys over breakfast, and they recognized me from Loving Life, and I know Marlena is working on getting the owner of that balloon company on a live stream, because I think that'd be a fascinating discussion. So let's watch out to see if we can get that happening. I'm sure we will. Okay, so moving on. Hang on, give me a second, guys. I'm sorry, I just jumped ahead a bit. Okay, so moving on. Basically, okay, so after the balloon ride, or watching the balloon ride and chatting to the guys from the balloon company, I headed back to Krugersdorp, and then that night, or late that afternoon, I headed off back to the airport, and I was being driven by this guy who runs a taxi service, and yeah, I see no response. I'm sure they will, Marlena. But anyway, this is the road going back to the airport. Let's have a look. Pothole on the road to Oliver Tambo Airport. It's about 6 o'clock. We're going to see some really interesting.
Yeah, we're fixing it. I just put it door in here.
Oh yeah. That's potholes. The shiny bit has just been filled with tar, which won't last 5 minutes, will it? How long will that last, you think? Sorry? How long will the tar like that last?
Good rains and a lot of traffic it's getting. It's not going to last long, eh?
You can see the more potholes here. This is on the main road too. So what he was saying there is that because they've run out of money, what they do now for potholes in a major road like the one to Oliver Tambo is they literally just put some basic tar mix over the pothole, but when the rain comes, it washes it all away. So they don't do a permanent job. This is the absolute idiocy, the lack of the logic factor missing in action when it comes to the ANC government. But in wrapping up this live stream, I've got a few little video clips to go. Let's have a look at the turnoff to OR Tambo Airport. Here we go. This is Oliver Tambo. Bouncy because of the potholes. Okay, now potholes again, of course, but you might have noticed that beautiful sunset, absolutely stunning sunset. And when I got to Oliver Tambo and I was about to go into the departure lounge, I filmed some video of my last sunset in South Africa. Let's have a look at that.
This is the amazing sunset that I'm looking at the departure lounge. I'm just waiting to walk in, but I had to take this video footage of the sun going behind the clouds. Isn't that amazing?
Okay, now, guys, I'm picking up your comments in the side chat, and I do apologize if I'm not responding, but having all these little video clips, I've just got to keep my attention here. I do keep my eye on the side chat too. And thank you, Liz. You know, it's been a pleasure having you with us tonight, and I hope your hubby is better, or getting better. Okay, so now moving on. This was in Oliver Tambo Airport. This was on the departure board. Let's have a look. EK766 Dubai was my flight out of South Africa. Alright, so what happened next was, this is the huge plane that was going to take us to Dubai on our way back to Australia. Here we go. Let's have a look at that.
This is the Emirates plane that we're flying on. You can see how busy it is. All the food going in and all the other stuff going in. Huge plane. Boeing 777-300 ER.
Now, I don't know why they bring such huge planes to South Africa, but basically, I don't mind at all, because it makes you feel like you're in first class when you're in economy, because you have so many seats available to yourself. And what I didn't mention on the flight from Dubai to Johannesburg, and it was the same on the flight from Johannesburg to Dubai, was the fact that because there were so few people on the plane, everybody was literally sleeping across several seats and had a good night's sleep, just like you would do in first class. So it's getting economy class seating with the first class benefits is what I'm talking about. Quite extraordinary. And here's the proof. This is on the flight going back to Dubai from Johannesburg. Here we go.
Once again, an empty flight from Johannesburg. It's time to Dubai. Good seats behind me. Incredible.
Now, on the flight to Dubai, I came across, I'm just going to put this on pause for a second, I came across this, it was a most incredible scene when it came to the clouds. I have never seen clouds at 35 to 40,000 feet looking like this, and I've flown a lot. So I caught about 6 minutes of this, but I'm going to cut it down to about 3, because the first couple of minutes you can see the little marks on the window have actually been focused on. So I'm going to jump that part. But let's have a look at this. Here we go. There we go. Have a look at that. at that guy in the middle. It's almost like a meme. You can see the hand raised and the face. Look at that. You see the hand just behind the nose and the top left. It was quite an extraordinary sight to look out over those clouds. I just loved it. I've never seen clouds in that sort of misty type of environment at that height. Quite extraordinary. And I was so taken by the whole thing that I actually, using the gidgies on my panel, the exact position that I saw this site. I'm going to cut this off because it goes on for a long time. Okay, so let's shut that off, and this is exactly where I saw those clouds as we were flying towards Dubai. Here we go. Right there. Just over the Middle East, as you're going over Yemen and Kuwait. It was sort of like in that area.
Hopefully I'll be able to.
You can see it now.
Get some data shortly.
Okay, so guys, that's pretty much the trip. There are a couple of final video clips that I've got here, which I'm going to play for you as we wrap up. Here we go. Let's have a look at these. This is the departure lounge for the plane going to Brisbane.
It is full. I like the flight from Johannesburg to Dubai.
Well, that says it all. And let's have a look at some more. Here we go.
I like the flight from Johannesburg to Dubai. This plane is full. Here we are taking off.
This is from the camera on the tail of the plane that I was flying in. This is actually live happening. I love the technology. And it seems like you're hardly moving when you take off in these big planes.
So fast from there, you take off into the air.
This was a huge plane. It had 2 levels. First class and business class was upstairs.
Here we go.
Wow, it just takes off like a bird.
Hardly moving at all when we took off into the air.
Okay, now let's have a look at, I've got 3 little video clips to complete our journey. Here we go, let's have a look at this one. This is looking from the camera down below the plane. That's Dubai. You see we're just going over the Gulf. On our way to Brisbane.
See how she goes.
No, I don't think I've got much more for you guys. I'll just have a look. No, that's
Coming to land at Brisbane Airport.
Oh, coming to land at Brisbane Airport. Okay, let's have a look at that. I'll just fast track it to the landing. Here we go. And once again, with these big planes, my gosh, do they land heavy. I guess it's the bigger they are, the harder they are to land. But this is Brisbane, coming into land. This was about 6 a.m. or just after 6 a.m. in the morning. Whoa! Not good. Not good. It's a huge plane, remember. And the final video clip I've got for you is of my transport from the Brisbane International Airport back to my home in Brisbane. And I'm not going to say the suburb for obvious reasons, but here we go. This is the air. It's called the air train, and it goes every 20 minutes. So it's a very fast way of getting into the city and avoiding the traffic. Here we go. Let's have a look at that. There comes the air train. That's the air train. Okay guys, that wraps up my live stream, and we've been going for just over 2 hours, so it's a good time to wrap up. I hope you enjoyed my trip. Once again, I just want to thank Marlena so much for being an absolutely perfect host, and you know, helping me get around Krugersdorp and to the meetings that I had to go to. And there were a couple of meetings that I don't mention here. They're related to what we're going to be doing with Loving Life going forward, but that'll all come out in due course. Have a great evening, and don't forget, tomorrow night 8 p.m. Johannesburg time, I'm going to be talking to Dr. Peter Hammond and Skid Marks Colleen Serfontein about what the... Oh, okay, to use Skid Marks' statement, what the fuck is going on in South Africa? Well, you'll find out more tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Johannesburg time. Take care, guys. Have a great evening, and bye for now. And let's go out with, here we go, with the dodge the old camera stuff again. I'm getting good at this. I'm really getting good at this. Where is it? Here we are. Okay, I've got to go to that one, and I go to this one. And we're going to go out with Hier Bly Ek Boer. Take care, guys. See you tomorrow night, 8 p.m.
Meer as 61,000 van ons voorvaders het op die grens vir ons gesterwe, sodat ons vry kan wees. Die is my land, die is my reg. Hier is ek boer. Soms ek gemaak het, sal ek terugkeer. Die Bybel is die woord waaruit ek leer, soos die grond op die aarde. Hier bly ek boer. So diep in die nacht sal die vyand kom, maar hier bly ek staan en ek draai nie om, want jy maak my nie bang nie. Hier bly ek boer. Die is my land waarvoor ek sal veg. Die is my bloed, my sweet, my reg. Die is die plek waar my voorvaders leef. Die is my land, waar my tag wat vreugde bring. My oupa wat maniekiero kon sing, soos hy stap deur die lande. Hier was hy boer. My wortels lê diep in die grond geplant. My siel soos my pa, los ek vir jou die land, en jy hoef nie te vrees nie. Hier sal jy